Угу. А, знакомое место, кстати говоря. Опачки. Это что такое? Стоп, я не знаю, что это за место. Простите, это незнакомое. Ночлежка Шонахам. По-моему, тут такого не было, когда я была здесь в прошлый раз. Вы видите, да? Это жесть. Ты, прости, чем здесь занимаешься, друг?
Welcome back, Dr. Reed. Would you like to take communion with me now?
Sean, are you eating raw flesh?
It is the sacred flesh of the mortal lamb. Our Lord's bountiful transmutation for the sustenance of his believers. Thank you, Lord. I am your most humble servant.
So, true to your word, you waited for my return.
I told you, Dr. Reed, I was a man to be trusted. Did you have words with the poor Harriet?
О, да.
You make no distinction between the living and the skulls, do you?
We are God's children, Dr. Reed. One and all. And he's determined to save us.
What will be the result if you continue to assist both skulls and the living?
For the last decade, that's what's been happening. And they found a better life. What's to change?
You're forgetting the epidemic. Things can go south very quickly. I've seen it.
Oh, these are terrible times. Only those pure of heart shall prevail.
You've turned Skal now. Don't you see the danger to anyone giving you their trust?
We are all sinners, awaiting salvation. This is a simple truth, ordained by the Lord Almighty. I am a seeker of his glorious light.
Does this place belong to you? How can you be so certain you can keep it open?
This warehouse was once property of the Dawson family, but has been bequeathed me through donation.
The Dawsons? The wealthiest family in London? Have they a clue as to what goes on here?
Not at all. The donation was made before the war. The building was run down. I never met Aloysius Dawson myself.
So you have the run of the place and no one's taken notice?
As long as we keep to ourselves, we interest no one. This is a haven, and I pray it remains so for eons to come.
Harriet, Miss Jones, has been behaving in a most violent manner. She's going to need special attention.
That's precisely the reason I brought her here. To meet old Bridget. She's the guide Harriet requires.
Who is this old Bridget?
I don't know, Doctor. She rarely speaks of her past, but I know she has a long one. She's likely the oldest soul in the city.
Harriet is possessed by her hatred. You cannot let her roam free. She's dangerous.
She has joined her own kind, Doctor. Old Bridget is a saint to the younger Skals, guiding them to salvation and peaceful existence.
I believe I've learned all I need to know. I'm certain you've killed no one, but one day I believe you'll cross the line.
Logic is a false prophet. Faith is the only path to salvation.
What do you mean?
We have been blessed with God's eternity. We are the instruments of his divine will. We shall feed the hungry forever and ever. Amen.
Let's simply agree that all are one and the same. In death, I mean.
Give yourself over to God, Doctor. Expel your urges and kneel before the Lord in praise.
These urges. You know the hunger will never be satisfied.
I have come to embrace the everlasting craving. I have sworn to feed only upon the flesh of the dead. It is now my sacrament. Take, eat. This is my body. So saith the Lord.
Так, ну опять у нас 3 выбора. Короче, схавать его, так скажем, получим дофига опыта, но мне кажется, району будет не очень хорошо, если столб упадет. Он же здесь типа заглавного вроде в этом районе, нет? Я так понимаю, он останется просто скалем. Не знаю. Ну, он вообще производит впечатление странного мужика. То есть он супер какой-то фанатичный, но при этом он не горит желанием всех поубивать. Он, наоборот, хочет спасать, и неважно, кого скали, люди, не знаю, вот эти вот вулкоды. Мне кажется, он будет готов спасти любого, поэтому я склоняюсь, наверное, к тому, чтобы его обратить. Подумаешь, 500 единиц опыта, господи, еще насобираем. Помочь им пару этих привенов и все. Давайте. Страшно, на самом деле, выбирать, вы не представляете.
The discoveries. Vampire blood would enhance your metabolism, perhaps even heal you. If what old Bridget says is true, I'll give you some of mine.
I'd rather not. It would be extremely awkward.
You have no choice, Sean. It's the only way to protect your chettle. Those still amongst the living.
No, Dr. Reed. God made me this way. Who am I to disobey his will?
You believe that God's plan was for you to be abandoned at birth.
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
I can't imagine God intended for you to be molested by a priest in an orphanage. Drink, friend.
No.
I said kneel and drink. Now.
Так, пожалуйста, поаккуратней с моей рукой, мне нечего драться. Есть новые горожане, которых можно убить. Ну, спасибо. Так. Вот как его не жжет? Смотри, сколько здесь крестов. Ну, это, конечно, вообще... Так, я надеюсь, что... В принципе, все будет хорошо после этого. Но я прям боюсь идти и спать. Так, давайте оглянусь, что тут у нас. Оу, трупак.
Another corpse thrown in the streets. Someone's playing a very sick game.
Что у него вообще всё плохо?
I know this brooch. This is my mother's. A birthday gift from father.
Ой, только, пожалуйста, не говорите, что сеструха нашего стала из мертвых.
29 Pretty Orchard Street. That's near Poplar's district. Why would this man carry off my mother's brooch? I must go there.
Да вы издеваетесь. Серьезно? Так, чувак, что происходит?
Good evening, Mr. Throgmorton.
Dr. Reed, Can I be of any assistance? Have you noticed anything suspicious lately?
А труп рядом с тобой вообще не подозрительно, да?
You've never faced, let alone killed a vampire, Ichabod. You're a fraud.
No, I'm not. I may embellish the truth concerning my achievements, but I'm totally dedicated to my quest.
You have courage, Mr. Throgmorton. Perhaps that is all one requires to face the demons.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. You'll see. One day I'll find and kill one of these monstrosities with my own 2 hands.
Я профукала подсказку, но, чувак, я стою перед тобой. В чем проблема? Ты же жаждешь убить вампира.
Did you see what happened to him?
Actually, yes. He was thrown from the roof like a vulgar log.
Why is it that you sound so afraid?
You didn't see it. He was dead before he hit the ground. The strength required to do such a thing, well, it beggars belief.
Who could have done that?
Who? Well, a vampire, of course. Look, bite marks on the neck and lacerations here. There is definitely a vampire close by.
Goodbye.
You again? What do you want?
Did you see what just happened?
No, I didn't. And I don't care.
Really? Why is that?
Because this sexist pig is one of the 4 men who blacklisted me. Good riddance, if you ask me.
I've identified the men who stole from you. You were right. They were members of some self-proclaimed militia.
I knew it! Did you find the money too?
Yes, here it is. They thought they could finance their activities with it.
I never thought a man like you would be kind enough to... I misjudged you. Badly. Well, thank you, sir.
Will you give the money back to your comrades, then?
Fuck those bastards who fired me. I'll give the money to Miss Gillingham. Her son Jack was a friend of mine. He was killed recently.
Да я знаю.
I know you were friends with Miss Gillingham's son, Jack. Tell me about his death.
Jack's murder has been a shock to the neighbourhood. A sign that the situation is now out of control.
Why is that?
There has always been tension between the Wet Boot Boys and members of the trade union. But a murder? That's a first.
Who killed him?
No one will ever know. One thing is certain. While Jack was alive, I had one less reason to drink.
Why does that upset you so much?
I wish I had found the time and words to tell him how important he was to me before it was too late. Another failure for Giselle Paxton.
Ну да. Я не удивлена почему-то. Так, есть еще подсказки? Да, есть.
Well, I'll leave...
Так, сеструха.
Glad to see you again, Mr. Reed.
Как ты разговариваешь со мной хорошо.
Did you see what happened?
No. I was coming back to the shelter from work when I heard an awful scream, and there was this man, dead, just in front of the building.
You saw nothing at all?
No, I told you, just that awful woman's scream.
A woman scream? Are you sure?
Of course. It was terrifying. I thought it was my sister, so I ran. But it was a man I've never seen round here before.
О, да. Это вот этот вот чел. Я забыл, какая фамилия опять сложная. Сейчас, давайте посмотрим. Где он? Трогмортон. Ох. Так, откуда вы скинули с крыши, говорите? Происхождение скалей. Мы уже знаем, что скаль — это просторечное название примитивных кровососов. Похоже, скали — это жертвы вампиров, которые чудесным образом избежали смерти и превратились в искаженные копии своих создателей. Многочисленные исследования, проведенные членами нашего ордена, показали, что вампиры презирают и истребляют скалей. Само слово «скаль» означает «раб». Арабы называли их соколиба, римляне – склавус, греки – клавины. Это свидетельствует о том, что давно появились эти существа и как к ним относились их создатели. Возможно, поэтому скали часто образуют небольшие тайные общества. Также стоит отметить, что тот факт, что сами скали называют себя точно так же, словно давно смирились со своим унизительным положением. Скалям сложнее скрывать свою природу. У них бледная кожа, ужасные зубы, неестественная худоба и расширенные зрачки. Многие из них лысеют. Тела скали покрыты незаживающими ранами. Они, похоже, могут питаться мертвечиной, в то время как вампиры необходима кровь живых. Возможно, именно они являются прообразом гулей, мифических существ, которые обитают на кладбищах и едят тела мертвецов. Скали – жалкие существа. Чаще всего они боятся как людей, так и вампиров. Кое-где скали являются рабами и слугами вампиров, они меняют свою свободу на защиту. Большинство скали происходит от иконов и имеет сходство с людьми. Гораздо реже встречаются скали, похожие на собак, ведущие себя как волки. В древних текстах их иногда называют вульпёс. Существует, по крайней мере, еще один вид скалей, напоминающих птиц или недопырей. Их называют корвус. Сам Уильям Маршалл трижды упоминает в своих мемуарах похожих на летучих мышей существ, которых он называет вампирами. Возможно, существуют другие виды, однако в данный момент они не идентифицированы. О, это про скалей. Хорошо. Что это у нас? Ну да. Но к нему идти сейчас бессмысленно, у него ничего нового, я думаю, нет. Вот. Сейчас я думаю, знаете, мы... Так, как мне отсюда выйти? Ага. Не то чтобы сильно помогло. Ну вот так больше помогло. Если честно. Так, я не хочу с тобой драться, друг. Так, реально, как мне отсюда выбраться? Ага. Он я что могу? Я крута. Что я могу поделать? Хочу отдать... А я ж могу отдать, да? Тому. О. Его... Этот... Пойло.
Welcome back, Doctor.
Чё, там джин был, не джин?
Tell me about your arrest for attempted murder, Tom.
I tried to kill someone. I got arrested. I paid my debt and I have nothing to hide.
So you mean your customers know about your sordid past?
Yeah, why do you think this is the last pub open? I have nothing to hide and I don't judge. That's a relief for many round here.
Do you think prison changed you? Made you a better man?
Oh, I don't know about that. All I brought back is bad memories, scars, and an ugly tattoo of a blue turtle.
But do you feel cleansed of your sins?
All I know is that I'm at peace. I did what I did, but I wouldn't do it again. Does that make me a better man? I don't know.
You attempted murder. Give me some details.
I was given an order to kill. I was an obedient gang member at the time. A proud, wet boot boy.
Why did you join the gang?
Because I finally felt useful. Do you have any idea what it means to feel respected when the rest of the world shits on you?
So you were ordered to kill someone. What happened then?
I don't know if you can possibly understand, but I couldn't kill him. I just stood there pointing my gun. Someone saw me. I gave up.
Why couldn't you shoot?
My target was eating in that fancy restaurant with mirrors and music. He was eating, drinking, laughing. He was having such a good time. I hated him for his bottomless appetite and easy life of easy pickings. And then something happened.
You refused to kill him because you wanted to feel some of that happiness yourself. You empathized with him.
Exactly. The man was a bloody landlord who rented overpriced flats. Selfish bastard. But he made me smile. And I was no different from him.
Why not leave town and start a new life after you got out of jail?
I grew up in the East End. This is where my roots are. This is where I want to help others and die, eventually.
Do you think the docks will always be a hive of scum and villainy?
As long as poverty and fear run the show, I don't see how it would change. Misery loves company, as they say.
Don't you feel threatened, staying in such a violent and criminal neighborhood?
I've made peace with my violent past, Dr. Reed. I may not be a pacifist, but I'm not angry anymore.
You lied to me, Tom. Your warehouse wasn't empty. It was inhabited with armed vigilantes.
I'm sorry, Dr. Reed, but I thought those Prewin guards would be willing to let someone like you pass without trouble.
That was devious of you, Tom. Next time you can bloody well go yourself.
I apologise, Doctor, but it's just that I prefer to avoid the law, its enforcers, and all manner of thugs in uniform.
Here is your booze. I hope it will appease your customers. Just try not to kill anyone with this poison.
Believe me, Doctor, most of my customers are less agreeable when sober.
Goodbye, Mr.
Welcome back.
Goodbye.
Well.
Goodbye.
Так, а вот где Сабрина? Что она скажет по поводу того, что ее бойфренд Зэк?
You still working at this hour?
Да.
Were you aware of Tom's past incarceration?
That's the first thing he told me when he offered me the job. He didn't want me hearing about his past from anyone else.
Did it surprise you to find out about it?
Not really. I was already aware of his reputation before I met him. That's why I came to the Turtle in the first place.
Most people would have run away because of that.
Not me. I thought a man like him could give me stability, you know? At least to some degree. And I wasn't mistaken.
Нормальная такая тетенька.
Tell me, Sabrina, do you really believe Tom has renounced his life of crime?
He proves it to me every day he tells the truth. Tom Watts is a good man. One of the best.
And you don't think he might fall back into his sordid ways?
We can all do terrible things, Dr. Reed. And we never know what we're really capable of until it's too late.
Goodbye, Miss K.
Так, у меня здесь где-то еще чел, который просил вернуть мамино ожерелье или что такое. Давайте я его найду. Опа, Степа. А вы кто?
Good evening, miss. I am Dr. Reed. May I ask you a few questions?
Who are you? What do you want?
As I just told you, I'm a doctor. From the Pembroke Hospital, actually.
The Pembroke Hospital, you say? I ain't paying any bill left by Clay.
I'm not here to collect payment, Miss...
Miss Edwina Cox. So what do you want then? Fancy buying something from me, maybe?
Я и забыла, что у Кокса жена-то есть. Ё-моё. Ну-ка, хочу поговорить с ней.
What can you tell me about your work?
I'm a businesswoman. I buy and sell things, and I send my wet boot boys after anyone who don't play nice with me.
Gang member and shopkeeper. Can't be easy running double shifts.
If you're interested, I may find use of a doctor who can freely walk across the city, you know.
I'm not interested in a career in the criminal underworld, Miss Cox.
Fair enough. Stay away from us then, if you don't want to get hurt or worse.
Since my return from the war, I don't feel that concerned by threats, knives, or even bullets, if you must know.
That's exactly what that stupid trade unionist claimed after he attacked one of us. Booth and I reminded him a bullet beats words every time.
Бут Дигби. Дивина Кокс.
You're quite blunt, aren't you?
I like people who know what they want and say what they think. This is a time of great opportunity for those ready to embrace their destiny.
What can you tell me about this part of town?
You can't trust anyone around here. As soon as you lower your guard, you can be sure some arsehole will take advantage of you.
Really? Don't you think that's a little bit excessive?
Bastards, all of them. This region only responds to violence and threats.
You sound like you're thinking of somebody in particular.
Take the gravediggers of Suffolk. They must pay me every week, but it looks like they forgot who gave them permission to steal from the dead.
Looting corpses in a mass grave. That is a new low.
Whatever. Hey, since you're a doctor and all, maybe you can access that forbidden area and remind those bastards what they owe.
Да я всегда за. Люблю наказывать всяких уродов.
You still use your husband's name, Edwina. Why is that?
Why shouldn't I? He may be a bloody bastard, but I'm still his wife and his name means something round here.
You never paid him a visit at the Pembroke Hospital, did you?
And I don't intend to. In Clay's case, I'm not against a medical mistake or a little help from the Spanish flu.
Добрая жена, что сказать?
Tell me about the man you and Booth killed, Edwina.
The bastard killed one of us and received retribution. There's nothing else to say.
What happened exactly?
I don't know and I don't care. One of ours was killed by that communist bastard, but he didn't brag for long.
So you have no idea what really happened, but you executed him anyway.
No one messes with the wet boot boys, Doctor. This is our territory and this is our law.
And your conscience is clear. You kill without hesitation.
Violence is an efficient tool, Dr. Reed, when used properly.
So you decide who lives and who dies, just like that.
Yes, Doctor. Just like that. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm saying it's my way of dealing with troublemakers.
Can I see what you have to sell?
As long as you have money, I'll show you all I have.
Ну, я правда не помню, сколько стоит у других, но вроде как-то дорого, нет? Хотя, может и нет, я фиг знает вообще. Оу! Я могу продать что-то.
Pleasure, sir. Been a while since we've seen any new faces round here.
Куда твой друг делся? Свалил уже. Ну, вообще молодец. Я, понимаешь ли, поговорить собираюсь, он слинял. Ну-ка, дружок.
Good evening, sir.
Who the fuck are you? Don't you see I'm busy here?
Dr. Jonathan Reed, that's who I am. And who are you?
Ah, some fancy gentleman we've got here. Clear off. We don't want strangers on our streets.
So you won't tell me your name, then?
The name's Booth Digby. Maybe I'll ask my boys to break one or two of your bones, just so you remember it.
Ты уверен? Не боишься, что я потом тебе бошку оторву?
Are you some kind of vigilante patrolling these streets at night?
Something like that, but the police aren't in charge here. We are, see?
So you're a concerned criminal, is that it?
Using funny jokes about me and my boys, are you? Fuck. You must have some balls.
I saw many men like you during the war, Mr. Digby. Greedy little cockroaches who feed on despair.
I could kill you for saying that. But, nah. You've been a soldier. I can respect that.
So, tell me about your gang, then.
What? Have you got a death wish? You really want me to answer that?
Well, yes. You seem so proud of your status. Why not tell me who you're working for?
Oi! I'm the boss, all right? The wet boot boys work for me. All of them. Situation round here is better than other districts because of us. Because of me.
Я думала, это жена Кокса, главная.
What can you tell me about this part of town?
Things ain't that bad thanks to us. We give people what they need, and we control this borough.
Well, you're not doing a very good job. People are still dying here like everywhere else.
Yeah, well, we can't be everywhere all the time. And Edwina says if we can find more guns, we could be more efficient.
More efficient? Really? You should probably tell Edwina that guns are useless against diseases and infections.
Incredible. You know what? You're lucky she can't hear you right now. She's more smart than patient. My sweet queen of the docks.
Tell me about the man you killed, Booth. What happened?
One of us had been killed, so we had to retaliate. That's the whole story.
There has to be more to it than that.
No, really. One of us got killed, so the killer had to die. That's how things have always been done round here. No one gives a shit.
Don't you see it's an endless spiral? One day, it will be you who'll be stabbed, or shot, or worse.
That's what my sweet Edwina always says, that one day I'll get it too. But she says it with the most beautiful smile, my Edwina.
Goodbye.
Так, моя Эдвина. Кажется, понятно, что она не хочет за мужем идти.
Good evening, Miss.
Hello again, Doc.
Booth Digby looks at you with love-struck eyes. Tell me, Edwina, is the feeling mutual?
You have no idea how refreshing it can be for a woman to receive all the pleasure she needs. For once.
I'll take your word for it.
What is it, Doctor? A woman's not supposed to talk about these things.
Да почему нет?
I'm not that easily shocked, Miss Cox. You can speak freely about your lover if you so wish.
The poor bastard is good to me, if you must know. He makes me feel good. And that's a first.
So you're just like any other couple, after all, are you not?
Yeah, we're so ordinary that I'd put a bullet in his head if he ever cheated on me.
Ну ты даешь.
Goodbye.
Так. Могу я теперь с ним... Слушайте, он похож реально, знаете, на Гитлера.
You again? What?
Вы же простите, но реально похож.
Do you know Edwina suspects you to be unfaithful?
Edwina's the one who asked to be called Mrs. Cox, even though Clay hadn't touched her for such a long time.
You have not answered my question.
She's a passionate woman. I've no doubt she'll shoot me down if I ever betray her, but that's not going to happen. I love her as she is.
Какой преданный мужчина.
Goodbye.
Так, ну я все еще ищу того мужика. Ага. А я здесь еще не была. Ну, потому что здесь все на месте. Сопроводительное письмо. Привет, Фрэнк. Как ты, старый друг? Я так рад был повидаться с тобой на прошлой неделе. В следующий раз угощаю я. Надеюсь, в своей части города все в порядке. Я здесь, в твоем родном квартале. Ситуация ухудшается. Крис с каждым днем становится все агрессивнее. Он думает только о новых захватах, даже при том, что кое-кто из новых игроков претендует на нашу территорию. Боюсь, что мокрые ботинки здорово влипли. Я тут подумал над твоими словами, что ты не жалеешь об уходе из банды. И единственное, о чем жалеешь, так только о том, что больше никогда не появишься в Ист-Энде. И там тебя ждет хорошая взбучка или еще что похуже. Но если решишь все-таки заглянуть сюда, я гарантирую тебе защиту. Может, снова поговорим о новых возможностях о работе. Ты же знаешь, я всегда ловко обращаюсь с числами. И если твоей компании нужен бухгалтер, давай это обсудим, ладно? Передай жене привет от меня. Мокрые ботинки навсегда, старина. Будь Дигби. Ничего так себе. Ну ладно, я потом с ним поговорю. Так, у меня туда, но я туда не хочу идти. Что делать? Не идти. Так, мне нужно как-то найти этого чела. Че там бубнишь все? Опа, Степа. Ну-ка иди сюда.
Good evening, Mr. Fishburne.
Yeah.
I have retrieved the gift for your mother, sir.
Great. Give it here then and take this for your trouble.
I also found the corpses. The ones under which you left the necklace, Mr. Fishburne.
Ah, so that's where I left it. I can be a bit stupid sometimes.
As a man of science, I'd like to try to understand why you killed those people.
Why does there need to be a reason? They were just there. It happened. That's all.
You're not a mindless animal, Seymour. Surely you have something to say about these murders. Speak up and I will listen without judgment.
Could be right, Dr. Reed. Maybe it'll do some good to confide in a gentleman like you. You being educated and all.
Tell me about your victims, Seymour. Who were they? Why them? Was there a link?
Why should there be? They just kept getting on my nerves at the worst times, that's all.
How many? How many victims?
It's not like I keep records. It happens when it happens.
You feel nothing, do you? No empathy for your victims at all?
You seem pretty calm yourself, don't you?
We're not talking about me.
All right. Well, our calm's the only thing we have in common then.
Did you take pleasure in killing them, Seymour? All those people, all those lives extinguished.
I take no pleasure from it. Just gives me peace. Stills the anger. For a time.
This rage you feel, have you ever been able to control it? Resist it?
I tried. For my mum. I tried for her. Telling the truth made me feel better. For a while.
Don't you think you should seek help? Talk to someone you trust, someone who cares about you.
No. And don't dare speak about me to your colleagues either. Keep your mouth shut tight. Especially about my mum.
Why is your mother protecting you, Seymour?
I'm her son. She's the only one who knows me. Sometimes I think she knows me better than I know myself.
I understand you love her, but can't you see the awful situation you've put her in?
Do you think my mum would have a better life if I were dead? She seems so sad to know me sometimes.
I understand your mother's situation. Obtaining justice at the price of betraying her own flesh. It's quite a dilemma.
It might be my mum's wish that I end up swinging from a hangman's noose. But she wouldn't want to be the one who ties a knot round my neck.
Я хочу ее найти, кстати, и поговорить с ней, потому что я что-то не помню, чтобы я им еще лекарство дала. Ну, класс, я молодец.
Goodbye.
Так, срочно найти Руфус, мамку этого Сеймуса. Ага, стоп, я вижу женщину.
Good evening, madam. I'm Dr. Reed. Could I come in?
Why? What do you want?
I work at the Pembroke Hospital. I'm investigating the flu epidemic in this area.
Oh, the Spanish flu. Well, that's quite liberal of you, Doctor. But this is no time to be knocking at people's doors.
The disease takes away the good people too, madam. Why not let me in?
It's Mrs. Fishburne. Stella Fishburne. And yes, indeed. Why not let a doctor in?
Как хорошо, когда прокачано.
It's
Особенность
locked.
гипноза. Так, что у нас здесь? Слушайте, у них довольно приличный дом такой. Не скажешь, что здесь серийный убийца живет. Угу. Так, пошлите, я хочу с ней поговорить.
So you have questions about the flu then?
Yes, among other things.
Forgive my rudeness at the door. It's just my son doesn't like strangers coming in the house.
Your son's gone way beyond simply bullying people. He has a taste for blood, and you know it, don't you, Stella?
One night, he told me straight up, in his own words. It was several days after one of his episodes.
Why did he confess? Did you suspect something?
No. I guess he wanted his old mum to help him fight his demons.
Did Seymour tell you everything that night?
More than I could stand. The words he used to describe his hate, his rage, how he feels when he's done it.
Tell me about these demons Seymour needs your help to fight.
Seymour used to be such a happy child. And he is still a helping son most of the time. But when he gets angry, he can hardly contain his rage.
All men and women are born innocent, Mrs. Fishburne. But there can be a monster within any of us.
Do you think he can be cured, Doctor? Do you think something can extinguish this rage inside my Seymour?
Science has only just begun to investigate the mysteries of the human mind. Currently, we have more assumptions than fact.
There ain't no hope then. Somehow, somewhere, my son has turned into a monster, and nothing will bring him back.
Stella, I know you are ashamed of your son's crimes. So why do you protect Seymour?
I can't report my own son, can I? Not a burden I could bear.
Burden? How do you mean?
They'd hang him for sure. I won't send my only son to his death.
I understand your pain, but you cannot mother him forever.
If someone ever found the courage to speak to the police, I will take my share.
А я могу, интересно, реально пойти в полицию? А, ну да, меня же 5 час. Ну и вампир, убить.
How is life around here?
Life has always been hard in the East End. But it's everywhere nowadays, isn't it?
Do you think the increase in violence has anything to do with the epidemic?
Don't know. But it's most likely linked to the gangs, if you ask me. Recently, it's like everyone has had to pick a side.
Violence has always fed on poverty, don't you think? It's a cruel law of the human condition.
And selfishness is their rotten fruit. These days, you can just die in the gutter and no one will bat an eye.
May I ask what you do for a living, Mrs. Fishbone?
Since my husband died, I worked at the Dawson Rope factory, but it closed before the war. I occasionally help at the night asylum in exchange for food.
Did your husband die in the war?
Oh no, my Jack was a docker. He died when my Seymour was just a lad. The poor boy saw his dad slip and fall from that scaffolding.
How do you pay the rent then?
My Seymour works at the docks, just like his dad. He's very attached to the house he grew up in. It's not always easy, but we get by all right.
The orphan that regards you as a mother. Please tell me about him, Stella.
You mean Rufus? I wish I could do even more for the poor boy. Most people are so selfish.
But you're not.
Years may have passed, but I haven't forgotten how it feels to go through days with nothing but an empty stomach.
Goodbye, Miss Fishbone. Take care of yourself.
Окей.
I'm not sure the epidemic is what
Call
worries
this the
people
bad
most.
part of town. I've lived in worse.
Такие друг напротив друга встали. Так, значит, я вернулась в больницу, потому что нам вроде там на карте показали, что есть новые диалоги со Свонси и с кем еще? С Эшбери. Ну, я, в принципе, со всеми пробегусь. Чё орёшь, что так?
Hey, Doc.
Да здорово, здорово. Он ничего мне не расскажет? Ладно.
I'll leave.
Реально, что ты так орёшь-то, я не понимаю. Привет. Обычно этот значок обозначает, что можно подслушать что-то вроде, нет? Видимо, уже нельзя. Ну ладно.
It is good to see you again, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm better than one might expect, Lady Ashbury. Dr. Swansea has asked me to investigate the recent disturbances in the hospital caused by skulls.
Really? What do you mean?
I discovered the most intriguing skull. An elderly woman answering to the name of Old Bridget, and a man who helps them remain hidden in London.
Old Bridget? Peculiar name, I've never heard of her.
According to old Bridget, Skulls can lead a peaceful existence like us. They are even able to nourish themselves by feeding on corpses and the flesh of the dead.
How vile. Please, Jonathan, let's change the subject.
Skulls of London have gone into hiding. Both mortals and immortals plot their extermination.
Yes. Skulls are the orphans of the vampire society. They are the shame of their genitors, a disgrace to the vampire that created them.
There is something ominous closing around me, Lady Ashbury. Something spies upon me from the shadows. Something cruel and wicked.
Whatever do you mean, Jonathan?
If Sean Hampton and Harriet were not the guilty parties, then who? I saw the bodies and the blood.
Your rebirth has not gone unnoticed, Jonathan. Be extremely careful. If you get in the way of an immortal's plans...
Do you suspect someone?
I don't know, Jonathan. I steer clear of vampire politics, especially whilst hunters roam the city's streets.
Goodbye for now, my lady.
Ладно. Не так, чтобы это... Следить, может, где можно послушать что-нибудь. Откроет. Ладно. Я все еще не могу туда попасть. Странно. Так, ну я хочу со Свонси поговорить. Странный мужчина. Я к вам в гости.
Jonathan, at last. I've been worried sick. Have you solved the case of our poor Sean Hampton?
Don't worry, Edgar. The reputation of Pembroke Hospital is secure. Sean Hampton was not the guilty party.
Is that true? Oh, good news. Good news indeed.
I found Harriet Jones. She's much the same old, embittered woman she was, only she's been made a skull. Her transformation did not go well.
Incredible. Well, why not bring her here? We could learn so much by studying her condition. It would be fascinating.
I doubt that. She can barely move. Perhaps we could learn more about the degeneration of skulls.
Perhaps. But she could also belong to a new species. We know so little of the laws that dictate vampire reproduction.
Were there any studies made by your order on the subject?
Not that I'm aware of. I will transmit your discovery to the Brotherhood's primate. He will be delighted.
Does the name Old Bridget ring any bells?
I'd never heard of her. Why? A patient of ours? I must confess, I don't know them all.
No, it's just someone I recently met. A fascinating woman. I had thought that perhaps...
By the stole, Jonathan, you've met another vampire. I would appreciate an introduction, if that's the case.
What do you know of the Ascalon Club?
Not as much as I would like. There have always been rumours about a secret society of vampires operating in the interests of the British Empire, though I've never met a member.
I crossed paths with one, a terrifying creature going by the name of Fergal. He was sent by the Ascalon Club to exterminate the skulls of the East End.
By the stole, Jonathan. If vampires are eliminating their own progeny, then dark times are upon us. Darker than I've ever witnessed.
Do you think Lady Ashbury would know of them?
Jonathan, our beloved lady is not one for social dalliances, nor the assemblies of dark orders. She's a woman of superior taste and selective acquaintance.
A pleasure as always.
Да, мне реально не знаю почему, но он меня беспокоит. То есть он ничего не рассказывает, но при этом постоянно все спрашивает. Какие-то опыты вечно хочет проводить. Мне это не нравится. Цветочек, как тебя полить? Портрет печального святого. Если вам довелось жить неподалеку от порта Ист-Энда, вы наверняка знаете Шона Хэмптона. А если нет, то уж точно слышали о нем. Его имя стало звучать по всей столице, и это символ нашей надежды. Шон – тот самый скромный учредитель убежища Хэмптона, плода его собственного труда и его убеждений. Здание заброшенного склада было милостливо пожертвовано семье Доусонов, а затем отреставрировано, превратившись в самую известную ночлежку Лондона. Нищим и голодным всегда рады под этой крышей, и для них Шон не жалеет ни еды, ни ухода, ни молитв. История жизни Шона Хэмптона трагична, но никакие тяготы не сломили его и не повредили его искреннюю веру в Господа. Быть может, Господь благословил этого верующего за все его муки и бедность таким острым чувством сострадания. Его любовь к ближним известна всему порту. Редкий человек не видел, как Шон проливает слезы над калекой, сироткой или больной матерью. Так он и получил свое прозвище «Печальный святой из Ист-Энда». Дело Шона Хэмптона продолжают его приверженцы, и ночлежка каждую ночь готова накормить и приютить, несмотря на то, что печального святого поразил загадочный недуг, из-за которого он много отдыхает и больше не преломляет хлеб своей паствой. Вдумайтесь, в то время как в одних кварталах Лондона при звуке кашля люди стремятся немедленно исчезнуть, другие готовы есть и спать бок о бок в убежище Хэмптона, в самом безопасном месте в порту Ист-Энда. И пусть здание выглядит грязноватым, запах его поразит иного аристократа, но здесь живут надежда и любовь. Смертность же держится на стабильно низком уровне. Прекрасно. Слушайте, вообще никто не болеет. Ха. Надо, кстати, к этому зайти. Он нас теперь может пустить, на самом деле. Что у нее там? Мигрень, да? А здесь я еще не была. Ладно. Ну, слушайте, хорошо. 2 района вообще стерильные. Я молодец.